Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Esoteric and our long-running series, The Unported Playlist, where I take a look at some of my favorite unported arcade games of all time. Today we're taking a look at Sega's Too Spicy, released on the Lindberg Red system. It's an absolutely amazing run-and-gun action, a light gun hybrid game that I think you're really going to enjoy. Before we get too far involved though, do me a huge favor, go down below, like, subscribe, and the notification bell definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, I have a Patreon link down below as well. But Too Spicy is an absolutely incredible game that's doing a lot of really unique things, and it feels like classic arcade Sega. Now, this game came out in 2007 on the Lindberg Red, which is just a PC in a box, Intel processor, NVIDIA GPU. But this has the same sort of vibe as the Naomi era, where you had things like Crazy Taxi and Jambo Safari, games that were both really action-packed and interesting, that also did a little bit something different with the overall arcade formula. But right off the top, this is basically a pseudo light gun game. Now, I am playing this on Teknoparrot on my computer, so I'm using an Xbox One controller, but basically it plays a little bit like Time Crisis, where you have a foot pedal that lets you move around or duck behind objects. To reload your gun, duck, and then you have a left and a right button that will navigate you around the level. The only goal of every single level is to shoot your opponent enough to take their life bar down to 0 to move on. But how you do that and the obstructions and power-ups that you use are one of the most unique things I've ever played as far as a Sega arcade game is concerned. Because you'll see here, depending on which direction you come from behind that pillar and which direction your enemy moves, you need to on the fly think about what it is you're trying to shoot at and how you're going to do it. That is all the fun of this game. And you'll know in the beginning I just picked one character. There's 6 different characters, all with a unique story, so there's a lot of replayability in this game. And if you can get 2 people in the same room and play a 2-player game, this as a versus mode game is one of the most fun arcade games you can play outside of a 1 versus 1 2D or 3D fighting game. I just love Too Spicy, and I love it because it is so unique. It's combining that run-and-gun action genre with the light guns to give you this sense of freedom and movement. Now, you may be locked into 1 or 2 different spots, but the strategy, how you move around the screen and how your opponent moves is really important, because you'll see there, I was out of cover at the wrong time. Audio cues are going to play a big part of this game, and I suggest you wear headphones when you play it, because if you listen to what your opponent's doing and saying and you listen for their reloads, you're going to know when to pop up and shoot them, and you're going to know when to duck and take cover, because if you're out of cover at the wrong time, you will get absolutely destroyed in this game. It wouldn't say it's unforgiving, but it punishes you for making a mistake. Now, the one nice thing is, if you hit continue, your opponent's life bar stays where it was when you died. So it's not so punishing that it's going to drive you nuts, but it is challenging enough where it's really going to make you think, how do I need to get through this level? Because now that we've gotten this guy down once, you'll see here, we're unable to move. We can just take cover. I popped out of cover at the wrong point, and I got punished for it. You hear his reload animation going. You hear those clips coming out of the gun. And you know that's when to pop up and unload on him, because it's going to give you a really awesome way to just take your opponent's life bar down. But this game has a ton of story as well, not just for an arcade game, but if this came out on consoles, I would say it's giving you a decent amount of story. And obviously it's on an imported playlist, that means it never did get ported over, but there's enough here that makes you wish that it did. This would be awesome if they just put it on something like PSVR or Oculus Quest 2, because I could see this game playing really well in VR if you use the head motion left and right to move left and right. I think that would be spectacular. But as good as this game plays, as amazing as it looks for 2007, it's also got a really great soundtrack. So in about 15 seconds, I'm going to let you listen to it, because it's got some real fun, jazzy vibes to it. But yeah, Too Spicy is one of those games, if you've never seen it in arcades and you want to try to play it on your PC at home, you can. But enjoy some music, and I'll be right back.
Ready, go!
It's not enough for this information. Business is over. Maybe I should go back to Hong Kong.
The soundtrack just fits this game to a T. It's jazzy and kind of sounds like a little bit of a James Bond secret agent vibe going on, but it's a little bit more modern flair, and that is kind of the vibe the game's putting on as a futuristic shooter. Now I know you're wondering, playing this on a PC, how does it translate? Because if you've never seen a cabinet, there was a foot pedal on the bottom, two actually, one that's left and one that's right, and then you have a light gun that controls that reticle you see on screen. Now on a computer it's actually really easy. If you have a Cinnamon light gun it'll work really well, but for me I map left to the left bumper, right to the right bumper, and then the analog stick is the analog overlay where you see that X there. One button for shoot, that's all you really need to do. It works perfectly. I had absolutely no issues running this game on my PC, but I do have a pretty beefy one so your results may vary. I also love that you get these little bonus rounds here. All you need to do is shoot those colored wires in the order in which they blink, but it can be quite challenging, and this is the one mini game I'm going to show you, but each story has two, and they are really fun and a little bit of a quick distraction from what's going on around you. The minute you feel like you're a little bit too stressed out shooting your opponent, you get a little fun bonus round. But even the art style, all of this cell shading in these cutscenes, it just looks so good. This game exudes charm and personality, and the story that it gives you makes enough sense. Granted, it's not the best story in a video game you'll ever play, but it really does work. And I'm moving on here. Again, we have a shotgun. You will start hearing your opponent reloading the shells into the bottom of it. When you hear that, that is when you want to pop up and unload that clip on him, because he's going to be vulnerable. When he starts popping up, and it is quick, your reaction time's got to be fast, he will start just dumping shotgun shells into your face and you will die quickly. You'll see I just got here barely with a scrap of life left, and that's the best part about this game. In motion, when you're playing well, when you're down on your life bar and you know one well-timed shot will get you the win, it feels great. And you'll see here that if you leave that reticle over your opponent in certain stages, you'll get a zoom-in effect which allows you to unload that whole clip on them for extra damage. And we can really navigate around this whole level, zooming in and taking that opponent's life bar down. I've never played a game quite like this, and I really do think that Sega should port this home, even if it's 14 years old at this point in time, because in virtual reality I think this would be absolutely spectacular. Imagine wearing a VR headset, using that motion controller in your hand to aim on screen, and being able to move your head left and right to duck in and out of cover and to move around on the screen. I think Sega definitely has a gem on their hands with this game, and they should port it, because I have not seen a cabinet for this in the US in about over a decade. I saw one at Chicago at a large arcade. It's not there anymore, and I haven't seen a cabinet for it ever since. So your odds of seeing this in real life are probably slim to none, but if you do know of a cabinet in the US, leave me a comment down below, because I always love hearing about where things exist, because every time I mention I haven't seen one in a while, someone comments and says, oh, the arcade around the corner from my house or my college or my work has one. And I love finding out that these things are still out in the wild. Because Too Spicy is one of those games, if you enjoy arcade games or Sega games and you have not played it, you 100% owe it to yourself to check it out. And like I said earlier, I am playing this on my PC with Teknoparrot. It works perfectly fine, but I am using an i9-12900K with a 3080 Ti. You don't need that much graphical and processing power to control this well on your system, but you do need to have a relatively modern PC to be able to do it. But if you do, and you want to download it, by all means, you're going to absolutely enjoy this game. Because the best part about it is these multi-tiered boss fights for each character, and I am only showing you one character's entire playthrough. I kind of wanted to keep the story cohesive, and I will have a long play of this video next Monday showing you this entire campaign. But the bosses are multi-tiered, they get harder, the story gets wilder, you need to be on your toes, running around, moving left and right and using that foot pedal to keep yourself out of harm's way and pop out when you have an opening. And I think that's what this game does best. The audio in headphones really telegraphs everything that's happening. If you have a good ear and you learn what to listen to, you can really one credit continue this game if you practice at it, because every single thing that's going to happen has an audio cue. It's kind of almost like a rhythm game mixed with a light gun game, and like I said, it's got some big Time Crisis vibes with those foot pedals. But yeah, that's Too Spicy. It was released in 2007 for the Lindberg Red platform. It's when Sega transitioned to using PCs in a box. Interestingly, even though I'm playing this on Windows 10, it was originally a Linux executable, so it was a Linux box, not a Windows box. but whatever operating system it runs on, this game is spectacular. Sega has not lost a step in the arcade space if they know what they're doing and try hard. I really wish this game had been ported home to PlayStation 3 with a Move controller or VR or anything else, and you never know, maybe Sega will finally make us happy. But yeah, leave me a comment down below. Have you ever played Too Spicy, and if so, what do you think? I think this is one of Sega's best games after the Naomi era. But we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.